Is it really an issue when female characters are sexualized?
Jake!
There's been quite a bit of controversy surrounding video game women being portrayed as sex symbols. To see them twisting and turning their assets in tight revealing clothing, if there even is any clothing in the first place. It's a perceived sin, an absolute disgrace in the eyes of those carrying around the notion of a strong female lead that so permeates modern media. But in this case, gaming.
And positions women as status symbols designed to validate the masculinity of presumed straight male players.
You see, women in games, particularly heroines, are assumed by many groups to be tainted, or even downright invalidated, by the presence of any features emphasizing their attractive nature, especially if the target of attraction is a male. Classic Lara Croft, raiding tombs and saving the world from evil organizations? She's problematic.
If you want to get to know a character, their butt is probably not going to give you that information.
Awe-inspiring feats be damned because she dared to cater to the insidious male gaze. The same applies to the upcoming Stellar Blade protagonist. Pay no heed to her ability to topple fearsomely intimidating monsters. She's far too stimulating to look at. It's a mindset teetering on the edge of absurdity, one where the person possessing it is primarily driven to only see checkboxes marked off. If the message isn't being sent that the heroine in question is independent, strong, and caters to no man, then you've committed a crime against womankind. Needless to say, there's a blatant dismissal of even the girls that get a sense of empowerment from seeing a representation of themselves capable of being an ass-kicking machine and looking good while doing so. The matter is often boiled down to men are horny and left at that, entirely ignoring the females that take pride in their physical appearances. Objectification of females is an intolerable offense, so grave in Western societies that it may as well seem backwards that women in third world countries risk their lives just to wear pants and display their neckline. Now obviously there's a world of difference between video game representation and real world oppression. Unfortunately, how we perceive females in games does have tangible real-world effects. Having read a few articles on the subject of female sexualization, I can easily sympathize with the young girls and women who garner insecurities at the sight of two watermelons strapped to a person's chest. I can only hope that these sympathies can be returned for young boys and men. A rarely spoken viewpoint of this entire controversy is that male characters are too objectified. You see, where female characters are pedestalized for their looks, the male characters are glorified for what they're capable of doing. Quiet from Metal Gear Solid can snipe 1,000 enemy soldiers, but she better look good doing it. To complement this, Chris Redfield can be a hunk of appetizing man meat.
Chris? What the hell?
But if he can't punch a boulder, then who really cares? Hell, most male fighting game characters have more muscles in their fingertips than I do in my entire body. Sarcastic examples aside, sexualization of females is oftentimes only viewed in a vacuum. And ironically, many game developers' responses to the issues females face inadvertently only end up devaluing women even further. In their attempts to desexualize women by reducing breast sizes and other natural features, they're shaming the girls and women who actually have them. Born a C cup, or God forbid, D cup, your size is unrealistic and problematic. You're to be censored to avoid offending anyone. Now there are a whole host of reasons why female characters in games are presented in a sexually appealing fashion. Chief among them being that women are actually pretty. Alright, so men can be pretty too. Keyword can. Okay, walk down the street and see how many men you can label as pretty in comparison to the women. There's a reason why pickup artists are mainly men with male audiences. The average woman isn't gonna stand outside of the average man's window holding a boombox. It's almost a superpower that women have. The superpower to stop all rational thought processes of the opposite sex. Just presenting oneself in a suggestive manner, to turn heads and eyes by simply strolling into a room. It's an advantage that men do not generally have. If we take Catwoman from the Arkham series as an example, every minuscule gesture, every small motion performed by Catwoman screams an unabashed, lewdy confidence. She uses this to catch her enemies off guard by manipulating them into a more vulnerable state of mind, one where their natural male instincts to protect or mate override their common sense and rationality. Imagine Batman trying to emulate Catwoman's demeanor. This effect is entirely non-existent. If anything, it has the unintended effect of making him a walking punchline. Aside from the most idealistic use of a woman's beauty as a survival mechanism, the average reason as to why so many video game heroines have stereotypically been sexualized is because male gaming audiences at home find it attractive. Well, them and certain orientations of women. But you'll never hear a word of a lesbian gaze. The simple and easy truth is men shouldn't be demonized for their feelings and preferences. Women shouldn't be censored and restrained by the same people championing their causes. If we're gonna do things, let's do them fairly, justly, and with an equal representation for all. There should be no shaming for things that do not fit within established narratives. So, tell me how you feel in the comments below. Is female sexualization an issue that needs to be eradicated? Is there a compromise? Or was there never an issue in the first place? This is Rage Watch, and thanks for listening to me ramble.